Juggalo Homies is on a come up, and all you haters out there, you can fuck off. Everybody else, go just this way to the dim carnival.
What's up, everybody? This is the Dim Carnival. I'm Bill.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Ryan.
And a convoy of trucks rumbles through your sleepy, quiet, still sleepy town. Because there's a new Pet Cemetery, and it's on Netflix. Anyway,
Convoy.
Yeah. We are working our way through the Wraith. Or the Wraith, the 6 Joker's card, the Wraith Shangri-La. So this week we're talking about 4 very, very cool tracks. Juggalo Homies, Yo Bidness / Soopa Villains, We Belong, and Steve's classic song, his favorite of all time, Cotton Candy and Popsicles. Couple of things I wanted to get out of the way. I wanted to make sure that we mentioned it. I'm sure that we would have brought it up at some point, but I did want to make sure that we mentioned, because last week's 4 tracks we were all super fond of and had a glowing review of. I wanted to make sure that we point out that the Wraith does unfortunately have a number of gay slurs on it. They're real bummers, and it sucks every time it happens. And it's real unfortunate. But I think Ryan wanted to... along those lines, because the gay slurs definitely used to pop up more in ICP tracks during a certain period of time. So I think Ryan wanted to give us some historical context, which is always important when looking at these. We've done this for past Joker's cards, and we neglected to do it until we're halfway through this Joker. But we're going to talk about years. This came out in the year 2002. Is that correct?
You are correct, sir.
Am I reading this correctly here? It says it's 2002. So what other sorts of albums were out at the time? This is also something that we touched on last week when I suggested that ICP would switch up their sound a little bit to be a little bit more rock or a little bit less rock, depending on what was happening on the charts or in the mainstream at any given moment. So what was happening at the time? Right? What's the haps?
So 2002, there was quite a bit of stuff going on. Eminem's show, the Eminem show, came out in 2002. To link one band with
the single off of the Eminem show?
The single was
Without
Me. Sorry, Without Me.
Oh yeah. Before he got right into before he started just doing full time the blonde horse with the intercourse. This is back when he was still going, "You're so empty without me." Because he was, come on your lips, wiggle your hips. That Eminem before he was like, the 4 course for the 4 courses. God, he sucks.
Well, he did win the Grammy for this. So for this album.
Why wouldn't
the
you?
Grammy?
The Grammy.
The Grammy. Well, the one they give away for rap albums.
Oh shit! Is that the Grammy? Look over to his house and they're like, "Oh, dog, you got the Grammy?"
It's right next to my Oscar.
Yeah, he has an Oscar.
Yes, he does.
I fucking choose to use the definite article, so sue me. In 2002, there's a bunch of albums that came out. So Phrenology from the Roots came out in 2002. A lot of albums. A lot of albums on the more independent side. So Blazing Arrow from Black Alicious came out. Fantastic Damage was released in 2002 LP.
Oh wow.
Electric Circus.
That was back before people knew who LP was.
Yeah, Electric Circus by Common. That was a great album. The Future Is Now by Nonfiction, which obviously came out the same year as Fantastic Damage. Talib Kweli released his first solo album post Black Star.
Black Star.
Yeah.
Black Star.
Quality, great album. I actually saw that. I saw him on tour for that album.
Whoa.
The movie 8 Mile apparently was released in 2002. The soundtrack came out
Oh,
in
word?
2002.
Nice.
I Phantom came
Oh,
out.
word?
Mr. Liff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Mr. Liff. Did a Cage album come out that year? These are all hip-hop albums.
Yeah, I'm only doing hip hop albums, man. Oh yeah, Cage did it. Movies for the Blind came out in 2002.
Oh, wow. The reason I bring Cage up is because he was just on the Psychopathic Cypher with a bunch of people, and now he looks like a pirate.
Right. I do not. I can't believe that's the same dude.
Yeah, that's crazy. Also,
Is that the 11-minute rap video with ICP on it?
Yeah.
DJ Paul and Isham and Ouija Mac. Also, Mac Lethal is on that cipher. So crazy. Mac Lethal was on that cipher. That's the first time I had heard of Mac Lethal. And now he has begun doing bumpers for MLB Network for the current MLB season, which is pretty awesome. So Mac Lethal, apparently, like, he was in the hip hop scene for a really, really long time, but in the past, like, 5 or 6 years, he's really where he's made a name for himself is doing like funny stuff on YouTube. Like, he's sort of like a YouTube rapper, and he has like a ton of subscribers to his channel, and he has like millions of views on his things, and he has one that's like 13 different styles of rap or something, or 35 different styles of rap that he does in like 17 minutes, and it's very, very cool. Like, it's awesome. And then he has another one where like he asked people like what he should rap, like what he should rap next or cover next, and everyone asked him to do there's that Chris Brown track that had Busta Rhymes on it that Carmen got famous for rapping. Do you remember that, Ryan?
I don't.
There was contemporary Christian singer, Carmen?
No, sadly, no.
Oh.
So there was a Chris Brown track that had Busta Rhymes on it with an extremely fast verse, and it was like a huge hit. But then this woman and her, at the time, her boyfriend, they were in a two-person group called Carmen, Karmin, not to be confused with Carmen, who is the Christian singer, who's very popular.
She has all the fruit on her head.
He has some rap.
She has all the fur on her head. And they did. Oh, it's called "Look at Me Now" is the name of the track. Look at me now. Look at me now. Look at me now. I'm getting paper. That was the track, and then Carmen covered it, and it got like 90 million views on YouTube or whatever. And Carmen got so successful they got to be the musical guest on SNL off of it. And now she has changed her name to Queen something. And now her now husband is like strictly behind the scenes. And she's like got a new persona, but she's still doing the rapping thing. So good for her. But everyone asked him to do "Look at Me Now" because it's such a legendary Busta Rhymes verse, and Mac Lethal's really good at rapping fast, and he was kind of bummed out that everyone asked him to do it. So the video he did that track while making pancakes. And so he's rapping and making pancakes at the same time, and he's also like talking about like how much Chris Brown sucks. So it's good. It's a good video. So Mac Lethal's got some cool stuff. Anyway, what else came out in 2002? Right?
Well, the reason why I was mostly listing off rap albums is because all other music sucked ass in 2002.
Oh.
And so here's a highlight of albums that I recognize. A Rush of Blood to the Head from Coldplay came out in 2002. Yankee Hotel Foxtrot by Wilco. It's actually an album that I purchased.
Not as good as the Coldplay album, but go on.
Right. Here we're still going. Yep, all these albums suck. Come Away With Me by Norah Jones. How about that?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Blood Money by Tom Waits, 2002.
Okay.
There's an album I recognize. Oh, Justified, Justin Timberlake.
Wow. Is that the one with Cry Me a River or whatever?
Cry Me a River.
Yeah.
Sure. Castaways and Cutouts by the Decemberists. 2002.
Wow, awesome.
And that's about it. I just looked through a whole bunch of albums, and those were the only ones that I recognize.
Well, Queens of the Stone Age put out Songs for the Deaf, which was their most well-known album that year. Yoshimi Battles the Pink Robots by Flaming Lips came out.
Nobody listens to Flaming Lips.
Sea Change by Beck, which is a good album if you like Scientology. The Rising by Bruce Springsteen. The Streets' first album, Original Pirate Material. It's very good. Hey, how dare you. Another thing that came out this year was very important, Ryan. I can't believe you did not mention this. Let Go by Avril Lavigne, which had Complicated on it, and Skater Boy.
I'm not familiar with her music, so sorry.
Did you say Missy Elliott's Under Construction came out?
Oh, yeah, Missy Elliott. There she is.
The contemporary Christian singer Carmen did have a rap song called The Resurrection Rap. I was reading the lyrics as you guys were talking. It's bad.
Carmen?
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
Jesus at all? Some. A bit.
Tiny bit. I actually recommend people look it up. It's frightening.
Some Carmen for that ass. All right. Shall we jump in? I know you prefer Carmex. All right, shall we jump into the tracks this week?
Oh, yeah, man.
All right, let's talk about a legendary, an indispensable ICP track. Let's talk about Juggalo Homies. If you haven't listened to it, take a listen right now.
Cousins, get out of here. Who was you with when you got tattooed? Who was you tripping with when you did the mushrooms? And who the fuck threw up all over your car and then felt worse than you about the shit in the morning? Who loaned your money, homie? Who owes your cash? Who taught you how to use the barn for the grass? I don't know much, but I gotta assume that when you hit your first net, your homies was in. What you talking about? Homies, homies. Talk about the touch of homies.
Guys, Juggalo Homie. This is very good.
The line that I wrote the line that I wrote at the top of the page says, I don't know what to say. This is insane. I listened to this track like 7 times in a row. I watched the music video for it, which if you haven't seen,
which has the edit, right?
It's edited, yeah. This song just fucking makes my heart so big and full and warm. Love it.
Yeah. It's I think the only bummer about this song is like listening to it and being like thinking about like how, because Twisted and Anybody Kill It on this track, and you listen to this song and you think about like how fucking down everybody was and how just excited they all were to be in the era of the 6 Jokers card, and just like everyone's so happy and they're like, fucking, we're gonna do this fucking forever. And now like Twisted's over on their own shit. Like, fuck ICP.
That's a real bummer, man. But Twisted had an incredible look during this time.
Yeah.
They looked super, super creepy.
Yeah.
And especially Monoxide with his like weird puff of green hair on top of his head.
I do also like that Blaze isn't on the track, but he does appear in the video as someone that they're cooking his head up to eat.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Dude, there's so many cameos in that video.
Yeah, it's great. Is Choco in it?
I don't even know, man. There's a lot of people that I don't recognize.
Yeah. It's a good song though, guys.
This song is great, and when I was listening to it this time through, like I couldn't remember what it sounded like in my head, and it just had to turn on, and instantly it all flooded back. But no, it technically didn't all flood back. As I was listening to it, I was remembering it, of course, but I was just like, oh my god, each line, like each verse, everyone's killing it. I love it. The chorus, it makes me so happy. And then, I don't know about you guys, but for me, Monoxide Child's verse is the one for me. It's the last verse. It flows perfect, and it just took a song that was already great, and I was just like, and it ends like perfect to me. I fucking love his verse.
Puff it and I pass it and I give it to my homies, y'all. That one?
Yeah. And then
it's got, unless I hear my homies call.
Yeah, and then you had mentioned, or we were talking a little bit before, there's another Michael Jackson reference, and a great little line of like someone imitating him in the background, and I mean, it's just so great, and I loved it. But I just forgot how much I loved Monoxide, and when I listen to Twisted, I always feel like Jamie stands out more to me, and I think maybe because usually he's the funnier one, and so like I kind of always end up liking his rhymes a little bit better just because they don't make me feel dirty or sad. But then like hearing this, it made me think back to Monoxide's solo album, Chainsmoker, and how great most of that album is too. Even though there's a lot of sex songs on it, and I hate that, but it's still so good. There's something about the way he raps that I just, even if I don't like what he's saying, I'm just like, holy shit, this dude's awesome. I can just listen to him all day.
Ryan, who would you say is a better MC between Monoxide and Jimmy Madrox?
Well, this is a point that I never really understood. But so when you say MC, that means like a person who is like a wordsmith, like uses the tool of his or her ability to make sounds come out of their mouth, but not just in a fun sounding way, but in a way that lyrically is impressive as well. Is that your interpretation?
Correct.
Monoxide by a
considerable margin.
Yeah. I think that Jamie has a really unique flow, and he has a really fun way of rapping. That kind of like, he kind of plays with you a little bit, while he's talking. Versus Monoxide has a really versatile style, and he can switch up flows. I mean, they both do that, but I just think that there's some extra quality that Monoxide has in his raps. You know, and in terms of the content, I think it's parallel. In fact, I think that Jamie, for the most part, has better content in his raps, but I don't think there's anybody that sounds slicker than Monoxide.
How would you rank him against Blaze?
That's a tough call, man.
Blaze is very good.
Yeah, because
he's very technically proficient.
Well, I don't know if I'm riding that recency or the high of recency after coming off of his album just a couple weeks ago. Right. But I just love that album so much.
Nice.
But yeah, I put Monoxide very high up amongst rappers in general. He's a very, very skilled dude.
Sweet. All right. I mean, like, yeah, what is there to say about Juggalo Homies except that it's timeless. It's like, I feel like it's up there with Chicken Hunting.
It's
for
classic.
Sure.
Yeah,
for sure. But this song's so wholesome. Which, you know, and this is, you know, and it goes with the album perfectly, but it's like it's not even necessarily the most wholesome song. I don't know if you can even say one is more than another. I mean, there's definitely degrees, but I mean, I don't know that there's like one that is the greatest wholesome. Maybe the last.
Well, he
song,
does talk about like killing people still in this song.
Well, they do in all of them. That doesn't matter. It's just. How happy it makes you feel, how good and community oriented. Like this song makes you feel like you're doing something good for your community when you listen to it.
Hell yeah, man. And that same quality is reflected in the video where it's just all the weirdo outcasts and they don't even care. They're just taking over the neighborhood, and being out, you know, and loving it.
I think it says one of the most important things.
Isn't that the video from, Let's Go All the Way, where they're going through the streets?
It's not. They're like going into all kind of different places in this video.
Is this the one that has the kid mopping at the fast food place?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's Go All the Way. Yeah, it's like a parade in the streets with the.
Okay.
The float.
I think that this track says maybe the most important thing that ICP's ever said in a track, which is talking about like. Talking about them distant ass relatives over ham dinner, and talking about like I probably love my family more than anybody here, but my homies is family too. Third cousins, get out of here. Just talking about like, look, family's important, but like family's important and possibly the most important thing, but friendship and camaraderie and a familial sense of brotherhood and togetherness is is just as important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also love the expression ham dinner, which is like maybe like I think that just like it's like dinner socks. Like it's such a universal like immediately like even if you've never heard that expression before, you know exactly because it's like, oh, there's a holiday where you're seeing family. That's ham dinner.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of relating that I can feel to the content as well. So like I feel like they're really putting out things that just genuine friendship qualities, or whatever that common experiences that people would have with their friends. What I'm trying to say.
It also has some of my most favorite ICP turns of phrase of all time. Two of which come in short succession, talking about referring to a fast food job as flippin' fries, which I think they've actually done one other time that we've talked about this on this podcast, but it's just tremendous. It's tremendous. And also, responsibility is there, I can't lie, though I'd have been fucking plucked his eyeball out with a chicken bone. Which is, Chaucer could not have said it better. Because it's a very evocative phrase, but which chicken bone do you guys imagine when you imagine plucking someone's eyeball out with a chicken bone?
Oh, I thought of it
Drumstick,
super
right?
brutal, and I was thinking of a thigh bone.
Oh yeah, like a wing.
A wing-a-ling.
Using it like
the
tongs.
upper part of the wing, though. Yeah.
No, if you have the whole bend, you can use it like tongs. I mean,
that's true. Yeah, for that shit's fried hard.
Nice.
Like a white
shit
Cliff
fried
John
hard. Your chicken ain't fried till it's shit fried hard.
I like my chicken hot. All right. What else is there to say, guys? Juggalo Homies.
You don't like me, you can
Fuck off. Or walk on if the video is to be believed.
Right, the editing is strange. I don't have the change in the lyrics, but there's like that whole part in Shaggy's verse that's all different.
Yeah, it's all very weird.
Shaggy's whole verse is different.
Actually, so let me just double check this right here. The lyrics in the book actually say, "You don't like me, you can fuck on." Carnival ain't for everyone. Like,
I remember
guess
that.
Get the fuck on. You can fuck on.
I thought, yeah. I think this is something that you and I talked about back in the day too, because we read the lyrics and was poring over this album, and I remember we were kind of coming to the conclusion that maybe because they're trying to be more positive in this instead of saying "fuck off" if you fuck on, it's a little more of a non-negative way of saying it.
Yeah. Nowadays, when I think about fuck on, all I think about is the MST Poopy tape where TV's Frank can't get the line, "I don't think on Soul Brothers." Yeah.
Every time the set falls apart or one of the robots breaks is my favorite part. Poopy's great.
All right. Shall we move on to Yo Bidness / Soopa Villains?
Yes.
All right. If you haven't listened to this double track, go ahead and take a double mint gum and listen to it right now.
So I'll keep what I can find, my boys. Baby, I got 2 felonies, tattoos on my neck, and I always paint my face. Can I still date your daughter? I think I oughta. I like the way she tastes. Ain't your business. Oh, my yeah. Ain't your business. Don't get slapped. Ain't your concern. What we do, unless you want your.
How you guys like double mint gum?
Yeah, I was like, that brought back memories. I could almost taste it when you said that.
It's you.
Jingle for
And
double.
me.
What?
Moving till we can't. I don't remember how that song goes. That Chris Brown song.
It goes.
Winter mint, double mint gum.
Fresh goes better with Mentos freshness.
Have we talked about already how the Big Red theme song is the best?
Oh my god, yes.
Commercial theme song?
Also, we really need to have more. Like, people need to talk about Big Red all the time. Because okay, Big Red was great gum. It was very spicy cinnamon gum.
Mm-hmm.
But the conceit, like the entire marketing strategy of Big Red gum, make it last a little longer with Big Red. Big Red freshness lasts right through it.
Your fresh breath goes on and on while you chew it. Make it last a little longer. Make it.
So the entire marketing strategy of Big Red was marketed on, if you chew Big Red, you're gonna suck face, and you're gonna suck face all day and all night. You're gonna make out with a cute lady so long that the movers will be done you'll still be
right.
That's right.
They'll shut down the whole restaurant around you.
You'll still be smooching up on those soft lips long after the establishment closes.
And the flavor of the gum is actually gone.
Yeah, but I don't, like, as a kid, I was like, oh, that's clever, and I like the jingle a lot. As an adult, I'm like, who the fuck is like, oh, are you chewing spicy cinnamon gum? Oh, let me stick my tongue on your tongue while you're chewing that spicy Red Hot gum.
Cinnamony good breath. Okay, but isn't it that the reason that it's gonna last longer is because it's bigger? Big Red, it's like 4 sticks of Trident.
Yeah, not true. I think it's 2 sticks of Trident.
It's like the same size as like Fruit Stripe.
Yeah, and Double Mint and what was the other one that came in the yellow? Juicy Fruit.
So
that was such a weird. What the fuck is Juicy Fruit supposed to taste like?
Juicy Fruit.
It's delicious, but like what the fuck?
I bought some,
and it's gray.
Juicy Fruit within the past couple of years. Juicy Fruit it is gray. Juicy Fruit was absolutely my favorite gum growing up, but like I choose like I just have all these memories of like chewing some Juicy Fruit and then like having to put another stick in a few minutes and like just getting a big old gob of Juicy Fruit gum.
Yeah, you just get.
But like I remembered like I was like I bought some like within the last couple of years and I was like I remember the flavor in this left pretty fast, but I didn't remember it leaving like within 30 seconds because that's definitely the time in which all flavor leaves that stick of gum.
That's because you're just an older person now, and your taste buds just don't have what they used to have when you were a child.
Just because you smoke too much.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. God, if you smoked, you probably couldn't even taste Juicy Fruit.
Right.
I vape.
All right, so I guess the song's about Big Red gum. I don't know.
It's about Rude Boy sitting on 23s.
Ain't Yo Bidness.
Oh.
Do.
Did we started already?
We haven't started.
Oh yeah, we did like 4 minutes ago.
This is a good song, guys. Jackson.
Yeah, I like this song.
18 pills a day. Yeah, this is a really, really good song, guys.
Yeah, big fan.
Motherfucker.
I was particularly.
It's basically like the conceit of the song is like I'm gonna do a lot of weird stuff, but like don't fucking worry about it. It's not your business.
Yeah.
This song has it's got that bounce beat like that. This is like 2002, or I guess Little John had album came out in 2002. Anyways, there's I think it's got a good beat, and it does have some live drums in the chorus. So it's like a mixture of a drum kit or whatever, which I thought was interesting. I also did write down the Missy Tony Braxton. So these ones didn't really hold up as much. These references, right? Like Missy and Tony Braxton are still around, but Macy Gray,
she's still around. She's an actress now.
Flash in the pan in 2002.
That's why they shouldn't have put her in the beginning of Spider-Man.
It's true.
You said he does mention pills. Oh, he says Tylenol PMs in this one.
506 will get you high. I always only take 2 Tylenol PMs. I think I may have taken 3 in the past when I really needed to sleep. But I'll have to try 5 or 6 sometime.
I don't recommend it. I mean, I've never taken more than 2, and I get pretty loopy-doopy off of 2 Tylenol PMs.
Well,
they messed me up.
So I don't understand. Like my wife, she takes Tylenol PM, and it takes like several hours for it to hit her. I take 2 Tylenol PM. I weigh like at least 100 pounds more than my wife. I take 2 Tylenol PM, and like within like 30 minutes, I'm like, all right, bedtime. But I don't
dude,
that's 12 hours.
That's because you're sober, my man.
Oh, I don't even I just don't understand, like, because like, so 5 or 6 will get you high, and like I've had like codeine syrup and stuff, so I understand like getting loopy, and like, you know, I've had like Tylenol PM where I haven't gone to bed right away, and I'm like, woo, but like I would imagine that if 2 Tylenol PM knock me out within an hour, like if I take 5 or 6, I'll just be like, I'll swallow it and just collapse to the floor.
Right. I mean, I guess if you're used to eating like 24 NyQuils, then, you know, dump 5 or 6 Tylenol PMs on top of that, and you're like, oh shit, now I'm really fucked up.
I can't imagine being high off that stuff. That just,
You never did Robitussin, Steve?
No, I was always scared to mess around like that.
This song is basic. So this is just about Violent J, basically just talking about himself. I feel like this is pretty much we talk about there being different. Sometimes it's Violent J the Clown, sometimes it's Joe Bruce, sometimes it's just a person in a story. But I think this is Joe Bruce talking about how he lives his life and who he is, and not giving a fuck about what anybody else thinks about him.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
But interestingly, there's a lot of different lines that he says that I like. One of them was where he talks about only hanging out with weirdos, but that his mom doesn't understand that he doesn't really get to be selective about who he chooses as friends. And then there's another line where he says maybe he's got bruises and welts underneath his shirt.
Yeah.
And then the person like listening to the track, or somebody else who's listening with you, I guess, is like, "Aw," and he says, "It's okay."
Yeah.
But then he says, maybe all this is just a lie. Like maybe I'm not any of these things, and I'm only using these stories as an excuse to be a dick.
What? So this song reminds me very much of, especially like the chorus, and then the people like him talking about his life, and people being like, you should try suicide. It all very much reminds me of the Still Stabbin', where he's like, help me, fuck you, you gotta help me, fuck you. It's sort of like the inverse of that. Like, he's not asking for help. Like, so in that song, he's asking for help, and people are be like, nah, fuck you. But in this song, he's like, oh, fuck you, I don't need your help.
For sure. But in terms of like saying, he basically says, after he says, maybe I'm just lying to find an excuse to be a dick, but then he says, I'm a dick. Dick. So
the cuckoo clocks. There's also a part in the song where he goes.
But I was curious, Bill, if that fed into it all something that you asked many episodes ago about ICP being an unreliable narrator. Mm-hmm. Rather, that's Violent J admitting to some extent that some of these things might not be as they seem.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. That was my only thing.
Okay. Steve, thoughts? Or
Yeah, I did not really care for this song in the day, and I did so. But I would fast forward it to the next song that's attached to it, because I love that one.
Oh.
And so, yeah, I mean, the music's really good. I like the chorus, the way the music sounds in the chorus, not so much the way he sings it or anything to that effect, but I just really like like you were talking about the bounce or something is how you put it earlier. And I just really think that was really cool sounding. And it's not something they did a whole lot, especially on this particular album. So, anything that stands out, that's different and interesting, makes me appreciate it a lot more.
Yeah, the music's almost like that Bizarre track about what's the track where they're rapping from someone else's perspective about how much stuff they've got.
Oh, We Give No Fuck?
Yeah. $1 Million High.
Yeah.
God, that song rules. So let's talk about the second half of this track, which is Soopa Villains featuring Esham.
Superflex,
X jet super sex. The boogeyman busting the bazooka next. Get wet. The super villains clock super checks. The juggalo and me break the bank and your
It's
super
the juggler, juggling, juggalo, scrub ninja, motherfucker. My axe I keep with me.
It's great. I love how both times Isham has like a spoken word part, he sounds completely different. Sounds like two different people. But he's like Isham, the unholy, Shaggy, the Southwest Strangler, allegedly. I love that.
And I love the violins. Dun, 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 dun.
So this is Soopa Villains, and eventually later this year, later in 2002, they would form a actual supergroup, Soopa Villains, which is Jay, Shaggy, Isham, and Lavelle, and they would rap as if they were actual supervillains, and they would have different personas. And Joe Bruce was Mr. Diamond, Joey Utzler was Mr. Club, Isham was Mr. Spade, and Lavelle was Mr. Hart. And they would just talk about, doing crimes and stuff. A good concept for a side project for a supergroup. In 2005, they released the album Furious, which is the only full release that the Soopa Villains have done to date, and maybe we'll get there someday. But they were supposed to reunite in 2017, but then they didn't. And then at the 2018 gathering of the Juggalos, they announced that the Soopa gathering would be this year's gathering, because it's the 20th gathering of the Juggalos this year, which is kind of crazy. And it's Soopa Villains have reunited, and they are supposed to release a new album at this year's gathering of the Juggalos. So very timely that we're getting to this track right now.
That's weird, man. I want to give a shout out to Juggalo Judgment because they just released an episode this week where they talk about that album.
Nice.
And in particular, their distaste for some of the objectionable content.
I'm sure.
Therein, particularly related to homophobic slurs.
Yeah. And
but shout out to those guys. You guys should check out Juggalo Judgment. If you enjoy listening to us, I'm sure you'll like what they're doing as well.
And there's a homophobic slur on this track too.
Right.
Yeah, and it really ruined it for me.
It does, because it's like the very last thing in the song.
Right. Well, and it was a double whammy for me. What ruined? Listening to this again, I had forgotten about this song, and when I was hearing "Ain't Yo Bidness," I remember that song, but then I forgot that it ends and it goes into this, and I was like, "Oh my god, I love this!" And for the longest time, this was one of my favorite little pieces. Mm-hmm. The way it just hit so hard, I don't know. It's just a really fantastic song. And then he says the thing about Robin, and I was like, as it was coming up, I was like, oh no, and it did it. And then what made me feel worse was I remember how much I used to celebrate that line and how much I loved this song and loved that ending. And I remember showing it to some friends, being like, it's so true, Robin is. and so I was really disappointed with myself, but then I was happy with how much I've, grown as a person over the years. And so that I was super disappointed with it at this point, but it sucks because the song is so fucking cool. I actually did not like. I have Supervillain, the whatever album they released, and I didn't really care for it. But I need to listen to it again because I have a feeling I'll like it a lot more.
I don't remember it as being as good as this track.
But that was the thing I think that really disappointed me, was because I thought every song was going to be like this. And that's not fair.
So the track, the music is awesome, and my favorite part of the track, one of the highlights of the album for me, is that bell in the every other line, the ding ding.
He mentions Mojo Jojo.
Yes,
Isham does.
Yeah.
Mojo Jojo, he of Powerpuff Girls, villainy. I didn't really watch a lot of Powerpuff Girls, but I did recognize obviously the name, and then I went and checked to see if there was any music that was associated with that character at all that could explain maybe a sample or something that's in this song, because it is pretty. If you don't listen closely to it, it seems like a really simple track. It's really bass. That's driven by this like bass guitar. I think it is. Yeah. Yeah.
There's a bunch of shit happening.
But there's a bunch of like if you're not really paying that close attention, it sounds very simple, but there is a lot of really intricate stuff going on there, and it's a really impressive beat. It's fun music.
Yeah. I would love to take the instrumental and do something with it, you know? Like it would be awesome. Like if I was ever going to try rapping, I would maybe try it to rap up with this track, because it's just very, very, very cool.
Yeah, it seems fun. I just feel like it's just two friends hanging out and having a great time, doing stuff together, being friends.
Three friends.
And I, last week I said, what was the double track? Aaron Simons and
Bitch Slappers.
Bitch Slappers. On that track I said that was a minute long, but that was wrong. I don't know how long Bitch Slappers was, but this one is almost exactly a minute long.
Yeah, it's very short.
I had a feeling you were mixing those two up, because I was thinking that Bitch Slapping on that other track. Yeah, I was like, Bitch Slapping was actually a little bit longer, I thought.
Well, you probably got an email about it.
Yeah.
So many words.
All right, shall we move on to We Belong, or is there anything else to cover here?
No, sounds good, man.
All right, if you want to listen to We Belong, take a listen right now.
Some of us are on parole and can't leave the state, and some are dead and gone. My homie Blaze can relate, and some can't afford a free phone call. But them some of us is equal assault. Think about that. We belong, we belong, we belong. We belong, we belong, we belong. Some of us on dope cars that fell to it.
This is a very fun track, celebratory. I always like the weird way it starts with the and this is the one that starts off with the guy crying because he doesn't fit in, right?
Yes.
Yeah. We'll fucking gladly take you.
They say we take all shapes, colors, sizes, and genders.
Yeah.
So awesome. When I heard that, I was like, oh my god. Which is especially weird coming off of the last line of the previous song.
Right.
But
it's weird when you listen to. I'm sorry.
To hear that on a track that was made in 2002 is pretty crazy.
No, it is. The other thing is, if you listen to folks who defend themselves using the F word that way, there's no justification for it. I know, but they try to say it as in we don't mean it we're not saying gay people are bad. We're calling all those people, kind of like how people are like, oh, I'm not saying N-word as towards black people. What I mean? But
in that song, they definitely do mean it that way, because they're speaking as supervillains. Because when I was listening to it,
that's a good point.
At first, I was like, whoa, that's kind of weird that they would say that because of Jamie Madrox and Monoxide. At this time, especially in 2002, they were very into the Batman, Jamie is Batman and Monoxide is Robin. And I was like, that's weird that they would say that. But then I was like, oh, they're supervillains. This is literally their supervillain persona. And as supervillains, this is their point of view. So they get it both ways. They do literally mean it, but they are not themselves. They're these other personas.
Yeah, good point. Yes. Yeah.
They're having their cake and eating it as well as having it, as the expression goes.
You can fool me once.
Won't get fooled again. But yeah, I like this song a lot, guys. It's another song that's got a terrific bass line.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, I think Mike P might be good at this.
I said it had a happy, fun beat.
Mm-hmm.
It's another one of those group hug kind of bring everybody together. I thought it was really clever. I never paid attention, I guess, to the lyrics that they're doing the some of us thing.
The sum of us is equal to all.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, it's pretty clever.
Yeah.
I love, like, I like just the first line from Shaggy where I see you feeling lonely again. He's a motherfucker. Yeah. I love how he insults him right after he says, "Oh, I see you're sad." Yeah. In a way, I like to think of this song as being a follow-up of being like, wait, we're not really like the guy from the skit from Malenko where the guy's like, I'm feeling sad, like I feel like this kind of makes up for that. And there's no reason why, but I think it's that first line where he's like, I see you're feeling lonely again, and he insults him, and I feel like in a way like that was like them like pulling that joke out of, he killed himself, but no, we're just joking, but now he's like, no, look, now you belong.
Yeah, I think that it's just a sign in part of how the mythology has evolved, because at the time it's like, we'll make a joke about anything. We'll make a joke about how like you should kill yourself if you're sad. But now it's like, so then it was like, you're stupid if you're sad. And now it's like, you're stupid if you're sad because you fit in here. Like, you're like, don't cry, idiot. Like, we're all here and we're all here for you. As opposed to like, don't cry, idiot, kill yourself.
Yeah.
That's all. I've always loved the some of us have incurable sexual venereals.
It's a good delivery on that one.
Something drug paraphernalias.
Yeah, we're definitely into Violent J's weed smoking career.
Yeah. What else about this song, guys, or should we move on?
Oh, he mentions he mentions the not having time for monks in Tibet.
Yeah, I
was curious if that was if we think that's still a Beastie Boys diss.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because Tibet, you can't, at that period in time, you definitely could not mention Tibet without intending it to evoke a Beastie Boys thought.
So I'm glad to know they hold a grudge.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Big time. Alright, I guess we'll move on to Steve's favorite song of the week, huh?
Oh shit. Is it time?
It's time to talk about Cotton Candy and Popsicles. If you haven't listened, take a listen.
I can put aside my axe, give your butt a couple smacks. Once you let me all up in, you're lucky if we'll meet again.
Work this pussy, you big ugly bean eating ass.
Fuck you! I don't want a lemon better Jerry baby. I don't want a double can of dairy baby. I don't want a coconut or furry baby. Come on! Cotton candy and
Popsicles! So something that this reminded me of, guys, because there's a lot of women on this track, and I don't think any of them are from the Go-Go Girls, but I could be correct. I could be incorrect. It does feature Zug Island. But something interesting that came up recently. WWE and NXT tend to hire a lot of backstage interviewers. And they've hired a new backstage interviewer who's been doing like some social media stuff. And I was like, I wonder what her deal is. And I looked her up, and she is I saw on her Twitter, it was like her Twitter bio was like drummer. And I was like, drummer? And I looked her up, and yeah, she's a fucking righteous drummer who's played with a shit ton of bands, including like Kesha and like a bunch of like bands that you've heard of. But she was also the most recent drummer for the Go-Go Girls because she's from Detroit.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So she's
wild.
like not the original drummer, but when they had their most recent like reunion in somewhere between 2016 and 2019, she was behind the drum kit for them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, pretty well. All right. So Steve, you obviously like this song a lot.
Wibble wobble bumble boo.
You do like this song.
Cherry syrup on ice cream.
So, all right, I'm just gonna say my
Hands are weird.
That's the best part. I love that one.
Yes.
So
I like.
okay,
I like Shaggy really pissed off that she called him Sugar Bear.
Yeah. So here's the thing for me with this song. Because I love this album, and this album is in a spirit of like kindness and love and light. I told myself, as much as I hate this song, I'm going to talk about what I like about it. So what I do like about this song is This chorus is fucking badass. This is an awesome chorus.
It is.
Blistering.
And hate every line of the verses. Hate. And the only thing that makes
you even hate Wibble Wobble Bumble Boo?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like being kicked in the tank. Like the only thing I hate more than a song that has like grade school sex jokes is having a woman answer them. Like, it's just like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm sorry, I'm not gonna harp on that though. This song reminds me of a mixture of being on It's a Small World and Space Mountain. It's a Small World is the awful verses, and it's really slow and monotonous and drags out, and you hate everything that's coming out of their mouths. And then all of a sudden the chorus kicks in, and you're like on Space Mountain, and you're just fucking flying, and you're excited. And it just, so I like the chorus. Another song on this album where I am like, the chorus is so much better than the verse. Then, not to steal any thunder, the ending, the commercial for Faygo, or I don't know if that's like a thing they found that's vintage.
Yeah, it's gotta be an existing thing.
Because if it's not an existing thing and they made that, I think that's even better. It's
that'd be fucking scary as shit. Faygo remembers? It's fucking scary, man.
Yeah. So that's all I'm gonna say about
unfortunately, another gay slur in this track.
Yeah, that's right.
I like there are some things that I find very amusing in this song, and I do agree with you, Steve. The choruses just rip ass. They're really, really cool, and there's a lot of stuff in the verses that you're like, I don't know. But there is a lot of stuff in the choruses in the verses that I do think are very funny. And some of it might be unintentional. I love his Shaggy 2-Dope's compliment that you rock a grip of ass, and she says, "Thank you, Shaggy Sweetness." I also love he says, "Truffle shuffle waffle biscuit, whatever that was we ate cost me like $13.58," which I think is very funny. I also think him saying, "Here's my popsicle and balls," is so disgusting that it's hilarious. I also like Violent J saying, "I can put aside my axe, give your butt a couple smacks," but then the sound effect, because like he says it in a very playful way, like, "Oh, give your butt a couple smacks," but then like the sound effect of the smack is like an extremely violent, like whack.
Which he's a super slappers.
Always found that funny. That's true. He slapped
the taste out of her ass.
Slapped truth right out of her butt.
Guys, this is the first Dallas, Texas reference.
It's true.
It took all the way to the Six Jokers card. So they went from what was Riddlebox eras when they went down to Dallas, and this is the first time they mention them, even though that's like Detroit's little brother.
Also, they've put in canon, which I think is very telling and very funny, and potentially unintentionally funnier than they intended it, of like, all right, the way it works is you're gonna fuck both of us, but if Shaggy's like, yeah, but Jay first, like that's the deal.
That's the deal. One of my favorite things is, well, I made a note and then I'm looking at the lyrics here on Genius, and at the end of the song he does the chorus a couple of times, and on then Genius it just says scratches. But what that really is like a 2-minute music interlude.
Yeah.
Like, it's a really, really long, we're just going to have a musical interlude here.
Yeah, dude, the musical interlude part is so fucking rad. It's like the better than bad because I'm from Motown. Like,
yeah.
And then it's like the...
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. You like that part, right, Steve?
Yeah.
Yeah, that part fucking rules.
Well, because that's part. Well, I mean, yeah, it's part of the course.
Right, you just get past all the verses and then listen to the rest of the song.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it fucking kicks ass.
I don't think Ben and Jerry makes a lemon.
What? Salt.
Lemon Ben and Jerry Baby. That's wow.
Yeah.
That's some really good Tropicana Dairy Baby, Coconut a Flurry Baby.
Yeah.
Those are all really well written lines. Lemon Ben and Jerry Baby is one of the most fun things to say.
I don't want a lemon Ben and Jerry, baby. Don't you wanna? Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Good job, Jay.
Yeah. Good job, everybody. Watermelon cherry.
Popsicles!
Oh, he also says blue banana sherry, baby. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
All good. All of it's good. Anywho. So Steve hated the song, but he liked parts of it.
But the parts I like are really awesome, though. That's what sucks.
You were saying that you like so many tracks better than you used to. Do you like this track better than you used to?
Yes, because I did not think the verse or the chorus was cool back in the day. I did not like the chorus at all. I hated the whole thing. I refused to. I don't know why I hate sex songs so much, and like why I get so offended.
I understand it.
I get so, it makes me upset. It's like I don't know how to explain it.
Steve just standing there with his hands on his hips, yelling at him like, nobody needs to know what you do with your privates.
I just want to say, get off my lawn, and I don't have one to say that for. So, I feel like a hypocrite. I'm like super cool with so many awful things they say, like. Even if, like, they're fucking a dead person. Oh, they're eating his eyeballs. Oh, it's great. What? Do to him with your tongue that you did to me? Like, I'm, like, super offended by that.
Gross.
And then she answers. And that, like, is even worse. It's like, what? No, stop it.
Ryan,
you're just too sensitive, Steve.
No, I got problems.
Yeah, I think it's okay. For a sex song, it's good. It's fun. I mean, I like the chorus.
Yeah,
I agree with Steve's thoughts.
I just think like there's so much cool stuff in like in the interlude and the choruses and the outro. Like there's a lot of like hidden little nuggets in here that I think it's definitely worth the song.
You know, I don't know if it sounds stupid to say. I just and I may have said this before. I just feel like ICP's better than sex songs because they make so many songs that are so great. So it's like I'm disappointed so bad. And it's just like and I know there's a market for that. I know why they do it. Some of these songs are probably their most popular songs, and that's partly where my other part of the hatred comes from about it. It's disappointed with people.
Stick with the wicked shit.
Yeah, come on. Just stick an axe up someone's ass, not your wiener.
All right.
Well,
way to bring it home, Steve.
So next week, sadly, we will be wrapping up the Wraith, Shangri-La, with the last 4 tracks: Crossing the Bridge, The Raven's Mirror, The Wraith, and The Unveiling. So, we might have to do a whole we might have to do a whole episode just for The Unveiling. But, yeah, so we're gonna talk about Crossing the Bridge, The Raven's Mirror, and The Wraith at least, and we'll see what happens when we get to The Unveiling, but you can listen to all those for next week. Until then, I'm going to be sad to put The Wraith behind us. I don't know how you guys feel, but I've enjoyed this quite a bit. But until next week, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Tim Carnival. You can email us, timcarnival@gmail.com, and you can find me on all social media at Sundown Motel. Until next week, I'm Bill.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Ryan.
Big red freshness lasts right through it.
Your fresh breath goes on and on while you chew it.
Goodbye, a little longer.
You know,
make it last a little longer. Give your breath long-lasting freshness
with
Big Red.